牛森竟让班农上节目，还不反驳选举谎言，根本为了选总统什么都做得出来。
It's a party without a leader, a message, and a plan. And so for Democrats, the familiar voices are filling the vacuum in this second Trump era.
Familiar voices.
Tim Walz takes the blame for their election loss and wants to make up for it by holding town halls in Republican districts. Pete Buttigieg isn't running for the Senate, which paves the way for another run at the White House.
Pave.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer this week angered liberals when he joined Republicans to avert a shutdown.
Avert.
And California Governor Gavin Newsom angered them more when he gave the microphone to a MAGA architect, Steve Bannon, on his podcast.
I think that's a lesson that we learned after President Trump. And look, we disagree on this, but President Trump won the 2020 election, and we were kind of shattered as a movement when he left Washington, D.C., and we had to go back to basics to say,
back to basics.
It can't be somebody else do something. We had to do something. And that's where we went back to really a pure populist movement to go at the grassroots, the precinct strategy, and kind of rebuild ourselves from there.
Well, and I appreciate the notion of agency, that we're not bystanders in the world. It's
Notion of agency.
decisions, not conditions, that determine our fate and future.
As you can see there, Newsom just let it go. He didn't check Bannon's election lie. So are these current Democrats the ones to meet the moment?
Meet the moment.
Well, who knows? But, I listened to that podcast, and it was like one of those things where it's like, that's the only thing you can hear.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
What?
It was almost like Bannon was expecting the pushback, and it never came.
Yep.
And so then he just continued.
Look, this is so Newsom is very transparently running for president. I always thought he was kind of he'll be whatever he needs to be politician. This is way worse.
Way worse.
Look, there are many of us that actually, I'm not saying this for sympathy, but basically sacrificed a career taking on people like Steve Bannon. Newsom is trying to build a career by somebody like Steve Bannon.
Build a career.
This isn't Jonah Goldberg coming on and talking about the differences between conservative and this is a guy who basically bilked his supporters, by the way, for a fake wall, went to jail for not coming to Congress, said right before January 6th that this was going to be basically, it's going to blow your socks off.
Blow your socks off.
What happens. Like, this is a bad man, and to platform him and think that somehow, I don't know what Newsom thinks he's going to win by this. Democrats are ticked off at him.
Ticked off.
And there's no Republican that's going to go, that California liberal, I like him. He had Steve Bannon on it. This is nuts.
This is nuts.
Familiar voices.
那些经常在政治或媒体中出现，公众已经很熟悉的面孔和声音，通常暗示这些人又出来发声或主导舆论了。
Pave.
这里的 pave the way 意思是指铺路，也就是说 Buttigieg 不选参议员，就好像帮他之后再次竞选总统铺好了路，创造了更有利的条件。
Avert.
avert shutdown 就是避免政府关门的意思。这里说 Schumer 跟共和党一起合作，目的是为了要避免政府关门，但这个举动惹怒了自由派人士。
Back to basics.
意思就是要回到最基础最根本的地方，重新审视和实践最基本的事情，通常指的是在遇到挫折或困难时，要重新检视最初的原则和方法，大概是这样。
Notion of agency.
行动力的概念指的是我们有能力主动影响事物发展，而不是被动接受。就像是说，我们可以掌握自己的命运。
Meet the moment.
迎接当下指的是应对当前重要的时刻或挑战，要展现出符合时代需要的作为，好像是要抓住机会一样。
Way worse.
哇，这比想象的还要糟糕太多了。
Build a career.
意思是指像 Newsom 这样的人想通过跟 Steve Bannon 这种有争议性的人物合作来建立自己的政治视野，提升自己的影响力。
Blow your socks off.
指某事非常令人惊讶，或譬良超出预期，让人感到非常震惊或印象深刻，就好像惊讶到把你的袜子都吹飞了一样，是一种比较夸张的口语表达方式。 蛮有趣的。
Ticked off.
意思是指某人感到不高兴，被冒犯或生气，是一种比较口语化的表达愤怒的方式，比单纯说的 ugly 更生动一点，带有不满的情绪，就好像心里有点不高兴的那种感觉。
This is nuts.
用来表达某事令人难以置信、荒谬、不理智或完全疯狂，带有强烈的情绪，表示说话者认为某件事非常离谱或无法接受，就像在说这实在是太离谱了，这样语气比较强烈。
And so for Democrats, the familiar voices are filling the vacuum in this second Trump era. Tim Walz, Pete Buttigieg isn't running for the Senate, which paves the way for another run at the White House. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer this week angered liberals when he joined Republicans to avert a shutdown. And California,
We had to go back to basics to say, it can't.
And I appreciate the notion of agency, that we're not bystanders in the world. It's decision.
So are these current Democrats the ones to meet the moment? Well,
This is way worse. Newsom is trying to build a career by somebody like Steve Bannon. This was going to be basically, it's going to blow your socks off what happened. Democrats are ticked off at him, and there's no Bannon.